What's going on? Today we're taking a look at the Montech King 95 Pro. Now, I've been using this PC personally for about 3 or 4 weeks now, so this video is long overdue. But for me, Enos Tech, the color scheme, the features, this is the case I've been using for my personal gaming build for, like I said, 3 to 4 weeks now. It's absolutely amazing. As we can see on the front, we got a nice bit of RGB down in there, which ties into the fans and the cooler, but we'll take a look at that in a second. On the front, we have the power and the LED buttons, so you can change the colors of the LEDs on the fly. Obviously, you can hook it up to your software and all of that, but for those that just like to play with it, change it around a bit, you can go right there. It's easy as that. We've got our audio input, so our headphone and our mic jack there. We've got 2 USB-A ports, and we've also got a front side USB-C port. I didn't realize how handy having a front side USB-C port was until I had one, and now I couldn't live without it. So big props to Montech for adding that. As we can see, we've kind of got fish tank glass going on. Both sides can be taken off. I mean, for this video, I've gone ahead, undone the thumb screws, so we don't have to wait and mess about with those. This, again, top comes off. Again, nice and easy. Just set them out the way there. And what's cool and unique about this, and I don't have it to show, is these fans. I've left it in the box in the other room. So this front panel comes off, or can come off if you want it to, but they've also included a mesh one that represents the top and this side. So if you look at this, you see the kind of design between this and the top. There is a mesh panel that will match that you can put here on the front. And as such, what you can also do is these fans here are on a clip. They're on a bracket, so you can undo a screw and you can actually, like, not fold them out, but swing them out, I guess you could say, and they will be in the front. So then they would act as front intake fans for if you're using that mesh panel, but then you'd still have more room to put more fans there if you wanted to. So it's kind of crazy you could have that many fans in here, and I'm a big fan of these Montech fans. These are the pre-installed fans that come in the Pro model. They're absolutely gorgeous. The RGB looks nice. I'm all for them. I like they got the bit of a square design, but still rounded off at the same time, if that makes sense. You might have to see them in person to fully appreciate what I mean by that. But again, like I said, just having so much versatility, even just in the front of the case, like, boom, got the extra mesh panel, extra front panel and mesh. Fold the blimmin' fans out, a little bit of extra cold air coming into the case, you're good to go. As you can see, we've got 3 fans at the bottom. Now these look like they would be exhausting air out the bottom of the case, but they're actually bringing it in due to the design of the fan blades and stuff. So it's quite nice. It's a bit of extra airflow that comes up into the chassis. We've got airflow from here coming into the chassis, so there's plenty of air. It's nice to see Montech has taken the extra few seconds and they've changed how, like, even the back fan, you'll notice that the difference between the back fan in the front, I know you can't see it in this video, but if you get the case, you'll see the difference in the fan blades, and you'll be like, oh, all right, so we'll know they look the same, but this fan is exhausting air out the case, where these are bringing it into the case. So Montech have done that. They've made it so you don't have to see the back of the fan with the little DC sticker and all that nonsense on it. So they've kept it looking clean. They've done a great job there. There is plenty of options for building in this bad boy. There's so much room. Again, we have a top bracket for our AIO, so you can take the bracket off, mount it to the AIO, put the whole thing in here if you want, put the AIO up, mount it to the bracket in there. You've got different options, and this is kind of seated up into the top of the case a little bit, so it doesn't come down as far, and it shouldn't block, depending on how thick a rad and fans and all that nonsense you're using, it shouldn't block the top of the motherboard. You should be fine. You should have more than enough room to still access the top of your motherboard for all your fan connectors, your EPS power connectors and all of that. As we can see, I know it's probably a bit hard, there are a couple of holes with rubber grommets and stuff in there to pass the cables through to the top. We also have them along on the side here, our pass through, so it comes right out here, and obviously you can see the 24 pin there and our 8 pin GPU cables there as well. Along the bottom there are 2 rubber grommeted holes, same as the top down there, so you can access the bottom of your motherboard, get your power reset buttons, all your USBs, your extra fans, HD audio for the front, get all them connected with ease. But obviously the rubber grommets, I mean, I know they're nothing new, but I always like them because it doesn't leave as much of the wires and the back of the PC on view. You kind of hides that, so you only see the bits that are sticking out. But as you can see, everything syncs up easy. For the RGB for the fans in the case, there's plenty of connectors, but they're also extra connectors, so you can connect your CPU cooler or whatever to it as well. So again, control all of the RGB from the button on the case. You don't have to have motherboard software. Obviously, you get a few more options if you do use software in your motherboard for a bit better control and stuff, but for general control, there are plenty of different functions, lightings that you can flip through all by the hit of a button, which is quite nice. Now, we'll flip it around to the back here, have a quick peek. As we can see, not a whole lot going on here. We've got our PCI expansion brackets. There's 7 of those in there, so depending on what motherboard you got, you can put extra Wi-Fi cards, USB cards, SATA cards, whatever you need, big GPUs. This case has no real GPU restriction from what I can see. This obviously you got a free bracket above and one below, so if you've got a 3 slot card, 3.5 slot card, it should still fit in here fine. Obviously it may cover some of your motherboard ports or whatnot, but that's not an issue with the case itself. We've got our sideways mounted PSU bracket here. Again, we've got the fan on this side, so it'll pull from the vented area, it'll pull in enough air and all that to make sure the PSU stays nice and cool as it should. It does let in a little bit of dust in here as I'm seeing, but like I said, I have been using this for a good few weeks and the dust really isn't that bad. And we'll go ahead and we'll turn it around this way. Got to do this because the power cable only reaches a certain direction. And this is obviously the back side. So again, this is extra fan mounting, rad mounting, whatever you want. Like I said, these fans here can flip out to the front of the case, but then you still have mounting for more fans here on the side because obviously the side panel is ventilated, so that's awesome. This whole piece does come off. There are 4 screws. You unscrew them and you can take this whole bracket out. Obviously, when you're building the PC, you'll probably want to do that just because, as you can see, the wires are pretty tight back there. It'll give you a little bit extra room to move the wires, get them right to where you want them. Of course, you can go ahead and zip time and stuff, but as this is here, as you can see, I've not even bothered. So I've just built it as is and just put this back on and kind of push the wires back in because I'm lazy like that. I'll probably end up taking it apart soon, unfortunately, as much as I like it. New cases are coming out all the time, so, but we'll see how it goes for now. But again, building in it, there was no real issues. I didn't run into anything. It went smoothly. Like I said, I quite enjoy this because it's got the dual functionality. You can also, as you can see, mount SSDs and hard drives to it. So that actually gives it a 3rd function. So those can be on the back side here. You wouldn't even see them here. Right there, you've got the PSU there. So if you've got an 2.5 SSD, you plug your cables in, get your SATA around to the front, and you'll be good to go. As we can see here as well, there is a hard drive docking station, which we didn't really look at. But you can see here that this, it is covered, but that comes out and we have hard drive, hot swap hard drive bays. Starting to see quite a bit of that, seen that in a few cases lately, which is, it's not something that I use personally, but I do like to see it because it's just, the space is there, it's a good use, and especially content creators and this and that. Obviously, if you don't have a NAS drive, or if you do, or whatever, if you've got big hard drives, you can swap them in and out, and then you can pretty much use your normal PC as a bit of extra storage without having to open it all up, take the hard drive out, unmount it, do this, do that. Simply just pull it out, boom, swap it over, put a new one in, and call it a day. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the final build on the Montech King 95 Pro. Like I said, amazing case. One of my personal favorites that I've seen in a while. And I think that does come down to obviously the blue color scheme of the case. And this RGB lighting effect here, once I hit this, I kind of fell in love with it. And again, like I said, it's personal preference. It may not be for everybody, but it is for me. I'm going to go ahead and personally give this our must-have award. I think this case has a lot of features. I mean, even the bottom here comes out. We'll take it out here. I forgot to mention the bottom. That is the dust filter on the bottom. I mean, as you can see, that is the whole bottom of the PC. And there's 3 fans already there to help bring the air in to keep things cool. Montech have done an absolutely brilliant design with this. Obviously, they've made it so the RGB on their cooler fits in with the case as well. That's just a happy coincidence, but it looks lovely. And yeah, I really can't fault this case at all. It has most things that your standard user is going to need. Plenty of cooling support, AIO, radiators, whatever you want. Customizable front panels. It comes with, the mesh one does come in the box with it as well. So you don't have to purchase it separately. It's already there. Big fish tank type, panoramic type display, if you will. You can see in the whole case from the side or the front when you've got the glass ones on there. So it looks amazing. So yeah, well done to Montech. Really like this case. Good time building in it. Didn't run into any issues. So yeah, again, with the must-have award. So that's going to be it for our video on the Montech King 95 Pro. As always, thank you guys for watching, and please stay tuned in the future for more content.